Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
Everybody, it's been a minute. Welcome back to your 15 minutes. I promise you I'm going to be more regular now that school lets out, as you know, or you may not know. I'm a school administrator, so my other life, I've got things going on at the end of the school year. But I'm really excited. As you know, the show, we bring on everybody, whether it be someone I've known for a long time, short period of time, or just meeting today. But that's not the case today. But I am excited. I've got a great guy coming on. I've known him for a little less than a year. But I'm excited to learn about him and to celebrate his 15 minutes with Tom Bass. So please welcome the man, Mr. David Rice. Come on, Dave.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to give you, this is my little countdown clock.
All right.
Now, we're going to stick with 15 minutes, but, we may exceed that a little bit because it's around 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a gorgeous day out here.
It is.
We're out at a park, but I've got the what I call the Rice Mobile behind me with my backdrop. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
So let's get started right away. Let's kick it right away and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I grew up in a place called Saginaw, Michigan. I grew up with 3 siblings, 2 older brothers and an older sister, so I'm the youngest of the family.
The baby.
Yes.
Oh,
I am the
man.
baby.
So you're spoiled. And guess
Maybe a
what?
little bit.
Guess what? I have 2 older sisters, so I was spoiled as well.
There you go.
So we're both spoiled.
Yep.
All right.
So my dad worked at General Motors for 35 years, and my mom's originally from Germany.
Oh, wow.
Again, long life in Michigan, and we moved down here about my wife Kendra and I about 7 years ago.
Okay, 7. So what brought you down to the ATL?
So just work. I work for a company called Oldcastle,
Which is?
and they are
Is that not like Royal Castle? Is
no,
that make burgers?
or like Newcastle.
So no burgers, no car wash?
No.
Okay, so what is it? What is
So it is the biggest building materials company in North America. So they do a lot of concrete products, concrete pavers, concrete retaining walls, a lot of road construction, things like that.
Oh, wow. Lord knows
Yeah.
we need it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of money in it for sure. There's no doubt about that. So tell me about your family.
So I have 6 children. I
Wow.
have a daughter who lives in Michigan, a son who lives in Tampa, and then Kendra and I have 4 kids at home. We have a daughter, Peyton, who's 15, a son, Jackson, who's 13, a son, Keenan, who's 10, and then we adopted a little girl. Her name's Sophia. We adopted her at birth. So when we moved down here from Michigan, we went through the adoption process, and we adopted her. And out of all 50 states, she ended up coming from Augusta, Georgia. So
Wow. So that played a role also then.
absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
that
Yep.
is amazing. So, if you don't mind me asking, with all these kids and this big family, what prompted you to do the wonderful thing, the wonderful act of adopting Sophia?
Well, it's always been something that's been on both our hearts. But you see so many kids that are in need, not only here, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, that just need somebody to come alongside of them and make a difference in their life. So we talked through it, and it's something that we really wanted to do.
Wow, that is that's pretty amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your growing up in Michigan, and a little bit about your family, and maybe your parents, or how people who've had an influence on you in your life.
Yeah, I think my biggest influence is my dad, mainly because of the things he taught me, or the things he wanted me to learn. Not necessarily that I did all those things.
Right, well, I understand.
He always wanted me to learn a second language in Spanish, which I've struggled to do. But I have 2 sons that went through Spanish immersion, so they're very fluent. He always said, learn how to type, and I'm a henpecker, so that didn't work out too well. But he also told me to learn how to change my own oil. I don't know how to do that either.
Wow.
But one of the life lessons he gave me is, when I was 13 years old, he came home from work and said, hey, you wouldn't believe I work with a guy. His name's Jack Shintaga. He is a former heavyweight boxing champion,
Wow.
and I just signed you up to become an amateur boxer.
Oh my, are you kidding me?
Now he said,
Your dad walked in the house, said you are now boxing.
You are now boxing.
How old were you?
I was 13.
That is unbelievable.
So he said, you need to learn how to defend yourself. My dad was in the Korean War, so he's a military guy, but he said you got to learn how to defend yourself and defend your friends in case that you need it. So for 2 years, I actually boxed. So
What now? Would you ever consider like Mike Tyson getting a face tattoo?
no tattoo.
No face tattoo.
No tats.
How about do you do the old kind of boxing where you the uppercut thing, where
Bare knuckles?
bare knuckles
no,
type thing?
No, we actually had gloves at that time too. So
What do you think about MMA boxing?
well, I had a conversation with someone the other night about this. You hear all this, concussion protocol in football and stuff, and all the difficulties that you have, and then something like MMA becomes really, really popular. Like
Right.
they just beat each other up to a pulp. So I actually enjoy watching it, though, quite honestly.
I need to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean I've heard so much about it, but I really don't know any of the boxers in it. But I heard it's obviously world renowned and popular.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you are a sports guy,
Yes.
so are you an avid fan of any specific sports team, either from the Michigan area or down here? Or tell me a little about your sports
So yeah. So
affinities.
it's all Detroit. So
Oh.
Red Wings fan.
Okay, congrats! Numerous Stanley Cups, right?
Yep. I'm a big Tiger fan, especially of the '84 Tigers. But my next door neighbor growing up is the CFO for the Detroit Tigers. His name's Steve Quinn. So
Wow.
we get free tickets.
So there are
to the
perks
game.
involved.
Yes. And I do admit this. I am a Detroit Lions fan, which are very hard to find.
It's been a rough go.
Very hard to find.
It has been a rough go. Yeah. Wow. So you've been to Tiger Stadium and you get taken care of then.
Yep. I was there the last game at Tiger Stadium and opening at Comerica Park. So
Excellent.
it was very nice. Yeah.
What is your favorite ballpark food?
I have to go with a hot dog.
You're a hot dog guy?
Yeah.
Now, are you a mustard or a ketchup guy? Or neither or both or more relish? What do you go with?
I'm mustard and ketchup, but if it was just one I had to go with, I would go with mustard.
And I'm a mustard guy
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
Now, switching gears, we talked. We've known each other a little bit less than a year, but we talked a little about. We have something in common with a brush with fame. Tell me a little bit about a brush with fame you've had with a famous person.
yeah. So I had an opportunity to live a couple different times in the state of California. One in Cathedral City, California, and which is outside Palm Springs, and then another time in Seaside, California. And Seaside, California is not too far from Carmel, California.
Correct.
And I worked for a golf club manufacturer, and I was asked, oddly enough, timing-wise, to go work at the Doris Day Invitational, which was
Who just passed?
Yeah, she
97.
97. She just
Wow.
passed.
May we live to be 97, please? I don't know. Maybe we don't want to live to be 97, but okay. So,
Yeah, so-
Doris Day.
So I'm on the fifth tee, and have a bunch of golf clubs out there, and the mayor of Carmel, California, which was Clint Eastwood at the time, rolls up in his cart, gets up to the tee and hits a ball and didn't put it on the green. So I said, "Hey, Mr. Eastwood, he's a tall guy. He's with spikes on. He's probably 6'5", 6'6".
Wow.
Tall, very pleasant." I said, someone of your height, you need a longer golf club. So I gave him an iron that was about 1.5 inches longer, so he didn't have to bend so far. Hit it, put it a few feet from the pin, and he came back over and thanked me. And later at the end of the tournament, I was walking off the golf course, and he had a bunch of media around him, and he stopped. He looked over and said, "Hey, Dave, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it." And then turned back to the media. It was fantastic.
That is an amazing story.
Yeah.
I actually that really is a great story. I've got a Clint Eastwood story actually.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my family, we drove out to California. I'm from South Florida.
Yep.
So we did the long drive, the 2-week journey out there, and many stops. But we also went up to Carmel. And Clint Eastwood used to own a restaurant called the Hog's Breath Inn.
Yep.
And so we went there one night. It was my mom, my sisters, my dad. And my dad asked the maitre d', he said, honestly, how often does Clint really come here? And she said, maybe once a month. So it was all right. So we didn't expect to see him. We sit down, of course, 10 minutes later, the entourage. Clint Eastwood comes walking in with this amazing entourage. Now, Clint Eastwood, growing up to me, was my hero.
Yeah.
I mean, the man with no name, Dirty Harry. I mean, I love Clint Eastwood. Okay.
Yep.
I had posters of Clint all over the wall in my bedroom. So my mom and my dad said, "You're going to meet Clint Eastwood." So I'm like scared, but we walk up to the table, and just like you said, he was a gentleman. My dad's like, "Mr. Eastwood, I really apologize, but I want you to know, you are my son's hero, and I just want to have him have the opportunity to meet you." So he looked at me as if you were Clint.
Yeah.
And we go to shake hands, and I expected the Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
And he gives me the dead fish. And I got to be honest with you, I still love Clint Eastwood, but it broke my heart. So right now, when I shake someone's hand,
Yeah.
I go with the grip because the Clint Eastwood handshake changed my life. I got the wet fish. I needed a little bit stronger.
Yes.
But we still love Clint.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, this is symbol. Symbol represents something that's symbolic in your life.
Yep.
And I asked you today to bring something, if you would, to symbolize something about yourself. And were you able to do that for me?
Sure, yes. I actually brought a photo, and this is a picture of Isaac. Isaac is...
Could I just grab it real
sure.
quick? Now, I know all my throngs of viewers, and by the way, I've got throngs.
Yes.
Just so you know, there are throngs of viewers watching this right now.
Okay.
But here's Isaac. I just want you to know, so in case you are...
Yeah,
right.
so Isaac...
So tell us about Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac is from Uganda, and Kendra and I sponsor him through Compassion International. So,
Which is?
it is a national program that helps children in need all through the world. So what we do is we give a monthly amount to pay for his education and send him to school.
That's
so
fantastic.
in Uganda, there's been civil wars in the past and things like that, but it keeps him out of trouble and gives them an opportunity to go to school, which most kids his age don't have that opportunity. So we had Kendra came home one day and was part of a small group, homeschool group that we put our kids through, and they were all took part in it. So there's a portable Compassion International where you could actually go through and kind of live the lifestyle of a few minutes of being in Uganda. And we came out and sponsored them.
That's fantastic. And so you contact him via mail, letters?
Yeah, so we typically send letters back and forth, and we'll get things around his birthday, around Christmas, holidays, things like that, letters back and forth. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I want you to know that I've often on my podcast previously and now on my vidcast, also called this the Basscast, I will talk about my dogs. I have two dogs that put me through stuff that no human should be allowed to be put through.
Yep.
But you also have a dog story, or a pet story, I
Yes.
should say. Not necessarily a dog story, but a pet story.
Yes.
Would you share?
So we currently have 4 dogs.
4.
We currently have 4 dogs, and we have a couple sugar gliders and a cat and some mice. But when I was young, we had 2 dogs. We had Winnie, which was a Cocker Spaniel, and Peanuts, which is a poodle, which was actually named after Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
So between the 2 of them, Winnie was getting older, and I came home from a baseball game, and Winnie had her face down eating, and I came up behind her and spooked her, and she turned around and bit me through the face and actually kind of locked on to my face. So I
Wow.
actually walked outside, and I had her teeth puncture in through my mouth. So I tell kids all the time, if it's even a dog that you know, a strange dog, especially if they have bone or food, never approach a dog, especially from behind if they have food or anything like that they might react.
That's a great piece of advice. How old were you when that happened?
I was probably 9 or 10.
So had you been 13, oh, wait a second, we get the phone call here. But all right, when you were 9 or 10, so if you were 13, then you would have been able to box the
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
Because you were a boxer at 13.
Yes. Or I could have got a boxer dog.
And then it would have been kind of a twofold thing.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. So tell me, just lastly, as we kind of wind down here, just a little about your family, a little about the family and what they do, what their likes are.
Yep. So Peyton is 15, so she's learning how to drive.
Ooh.
And she's
Should I get off the road right now?
Yes, yes.
Well, by the way, this is the Rice Mobile. It's
Yes.
might be the biggest vehicle I've ever seen. Although, when you have all those kids and sugar gliders, do they fly around the van when you drive around?
No, we don't take them outside very much. They do fly around the house though.
Is Peyton gonna drive this vehicle?
Probably not. So she's right now. She's a coaster.
Okay.
So she hardly uses the gas pedal. She just kind of coasts around.
Thank
But
goodness.
she's our drama queen. Not in how she acts, but she likes drama.
So it's drama. Okay,
Yeah,
a thespian. It's a thespian.
Yes, she
Thespian,
is.
okay.
Jackson, plays baseball. He plays a little bit of hoops. Keenan plays baseball as well. They're both into sports. And then Sophia, our youngest daughter, she is our dancer, ballet, gymnastic, constant.
So they keep you running.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, at home, I guess there must be the laundry factor must be incredible at the house.
Oh, yeah. So we have a lot of laundry.
Do you do the laundry?
I do some laundry.
Really?
Yes.
I've been outlawed from laundry in my house. I shrunk one of my daughter's sweaters to the size of a handkerchief, and since then, I am disallowed from the laundry room.
Yes. So I usually do laundry when Kendra's not around. So it's the same thing with the kids when they're small. When I used to cut their hair, I'd let her go to the mall or whatever.
Yes.
Put them in their high chair and cut their hair. So same thing with laundry. I don't do it when she's around, but there's clean laundry, dirty laundry. With that many kids, there's quite a bit of laundry.
I can only imagine.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, as we get ready to close out in a minute, I will tell you that I've known you a very short period of time. I have the deepest respect for you. You seem to be one of the nicest guys I've known in many, many years. And so I'm going to ask you, what is your creed or what is your belief about how people, what is the one thing you would tell people or humanity that would better them?
Well, I think
Hold on.
dog time.
Not that you're cut off, but this means that we're at 15 minutes.
Oh.
So we're definitely winding down. That was my Roscoe, who's my dog. That was the Roscoe bark. Quite ironically, we talked about dogs.
Yes.
But let's continue.
Yeah.
The creed.
Yeah. So my creed is let your children fail. Too many parents nowadays avoid that. Kids avoid it. But if you look through history, if you look at any great inventor, Edison, Benjamin Franklin, if you look at any great athlete, you look at Steve Jobs, you look at Michael Jordan, they will point to one time in their life where they failed that ended up making them better. We have a tendency in life not to want our kids to fall down or fail, and it's actually an opportunity to make them stronger or better, and a lot of times we don't let them do that as parents. And then second to that is, kindness doesn't cost anything.
Right.
So I always tell my kids, give someone a smile, a pat on the back, a compliment, open a door for somebody, do something small for somebody every day, and then they'll carry that on to somebody else.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I used to tell my classes when I taught before becoming an administrator, I taught English for many years, and I would say my greatest advice to you is 2 words, simply 2 words, be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. Be a good person.
Yep, for sure.
So that's great. Well, listen, as we wind down, one of the prerequisites on my show, for those of you that are just watching for the first time, or Dave, you may not know this, but we, of course, have Symbol, and you brought a wonderful Symbol to share today, and I mean, it really was fantastic. But also, I'm a big karaoke guy.
Okay.
My karaoke song is TNT, and the opening of the show and the closing of the show, they get a little taste of that. But as a prerequisite, I enforce that any guest I have must karaoke something.
Okay.
So I asked you to come prepared.
Yep.
Did you today?
Yes. Now, I've never karaoke'd before.
You've never karaoke'd?
No. I like to watch people karaoke,
Okay.
but I've never karaoke'd.
So this is a big moment. So
Yes.
all my throngs of people out there are going to see you, David Rice, karaoke for the first time.
Yes, that's correct.
What will we be hearing, my friend?
I picked a song that kind of reflects the family. It's called from a band called Crowded House.
I remember Crowded House.
Yeah. So Don't Dream It's Over.
Okay.
I'm going to sing that song. And it is also reflective of, I grew up in the 80s. They're an 80s band from Australia, so I thought I'd go with them.
Wow. Have you ever had a Vegemite sandwich?
Yes, I actually have.
Really? Are they any good? I heard
No,
they're not very good.
Terrible.
Okay. Do you remember the group Men at Work?
Oh, yes.
I love
Yep.
them.
Yep, they're on my playlist.
Had you played, I might have sung along with you on that one. But I'm going to let you have Crowded House. So, David Rice, as we close out, Tom Bass presents your 15 minutes. Please karaoke for us, my friend.
Okay. There is freedom within, there is freedom without. try and catch the deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you will never see the end of the road traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us, but we know they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions create suspicions, but there's no proof. In the paper today, tales of war and of waste, but I turn it over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
David Rice, it was a great day to celebrate you, my friend.
Oh, thank you
Okay,
for having me. Appreciate it.
your 15 minutes, and we hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back sooner than later. I promise you, it won't be as long a minute, and we'll see you soon for episode 3. And I hope you've truly enjoyed the show. Tom Bass presents Your 15 Minutes, and I'm out of here. We'll see you soon.